Hi everyone, welcome. This video is an Excel video, which basically is just about functions and stuff I wish that I knew when starting my first job, where I had to use Excel. And I hope you can use some of it. It's basically just, yeah, some of it you might be familiar with, and some of the things you might not, but just fast forward if you are already familiar with something. And please have your Excel open so you can like try out the functions. We start out with some basic things, as I said. Column width is one basic thing. Also the width of the rows, which is like important to just for the looks actually, so it looks professional and like the cells are the same size, correct size. Another thing is Control and Shift, where you can use the arrows to like mark things up, and that is very smart when you have like lists of with thousands of rows and numbers, so you can mark them fast and use them for a function or whatever you want to copy it over. So Control and Shift and arrows. AutoSum is also smart. And it's basically more so you don't have to write the sum function and like drag it along the way. You can instead just like mark the whole table or whatever you have, and then you can just click on the AutoSum, and then it makes a sum function on like a line in the bottom. As you see right here, I'm gonna click on AutoSum. Yeah, so just a sum function everywhere there. And Alt plus O plus A, holding those buttons, will result in that you can like make it look better. So yeah, you can see it in a bit, but it will just like be a fast design. You can put on some numbers and titles maybe. So there you go. And then it just looks more professional. So that's a pretty good thing to know if you just want to do something fast. Some data here, and it's basically just invoices and some dates, departments, and the amount of the invoices in euros. So the departments are like these numbers that identify some kind of department name. And maybe we want also a column with the actual department names, but we don't have it right now. So we need to like sort these numbers into these names. Like we need to make a list. And there are ways to do this. The way I would do it would be Vlookup. And let's say that it's only the two first ciphers of the department number that tells us which like department it is from. Um, I've made like an index over here where it shows the two first ciphers and then the names. And then I've copied over with the numbers. And yeah, I'm just gonna show you how I copied over with Control and Shift. Yeah, first I'll just show that, but yeah. So now I'll just copy it. And then remember when you copy something, there are different ways you can choose to insert it. Usually I just choose values. And then here I use the lift function, so I can just get like, yeah, copy the actual number next to it over here, where I choose how many characters I want to keep from it, starting from the left, and only want to keep the two first ciphers right. So I'll do that. And then I'll just drag it all the way down. Then I'll write up the Vlookup function. Here you have the lookup value. That's the value that you want to look up, of course. And that's 21 right here in the first cell here. And then we have the index or table over here. And that's the table we are going to mark now, like the table we want to look these things up in. And as you see, there are two columns in this table. So the next thing is we want the column index number, and that's going to be the number that is going to be shown in this cell, in our function cell. And we want the names right. We don't want the number. So we want column number 2 here. We want the name to be the next to our number. So we'll write 2, and then we'll choose if we want an exact match or approximate. We want an exact match here. We want it to find 21 and then take column number 2 and write it in our cell. in the table. So we've done that. Now there is a little problem. The problem is that the number b, or the cell b1, is a function we have over here. So we are basically looking up a function right now. We can't do that. We cannot use functions in our Vlookup function. It has to be raw numbers and text. So what we want to do is we want to copy this, basically the full list and the number 21 over to another column, and then just insert it as numbers, not as functions. So we click like that, and then we click insert value. But there's another problem now. And the problem is that it's the wrong format right now with these numbers, apparently. So you can mark them all again, then click on the triangle that shows an error. Then you can click convert to number. And that fixes the problem, as we see. But I've forgotten to just mark it over there instead. So there we go. Now it's correct. So we want to pull it down now, right, in the function, so we can do it with every number. But here's another problem. The problem is that in our function we have marked a table here, but the table will just be like dragged down along with everything else, and we don't want that. We want to keep it marked right there. So we're going to use dollar signs around the letters to make it stay. The letters that relates to this table. We just do that, and then they will be like locked. Yeah. Now it's perfect. Now we just need to copy the list. I will do that now. We can write department names here. Yeah, I just want to make it look good. There we go. Oh, perfect. Now the next thing I want to talk about is the replace function, also the find function, or basically just a tool that you can go up and choose. But it's a very useful tool. The find is just when you have a big sheet or a lot of data, right? You just want to find something in it. So simple but good. And replace is more like, okay, I have this long list that I'll mark, and I just want to replace everywhere a number or name or whatever. And I want to do it everywhere at once, this name or number. So I'll just show you here. For an example, 21,000, I want to replace that. So I'll go in here. Then we could replace it with maybe AA, A, and yeah, here you can see it. So it's quite smart, it saves you a lot of time. I'll just change it back. Alright, now I would like to show you how to make a table. And that's just marking it all. Pretty simple actually. And then, but of course you need it organized first like this. And then my table has headers here, so I click that. And now you have it. Now you can choose the signs up here. So if you want it to look a bit better, and you also need to know how to remove it again. And that's just by converting it back to range. And then you still have the same design, but you can get that away by doing that. So I can now filter it and yeah, just choose basically if I wanted to start from the largest or smallest and which dates I want, and pick the data of what you want in the table. And you can see that the dates has been messed up, and that's also this with formats and cells. You always gotta like keep an eye on it. Sometimes it just messes up, so then you gotta fix it. So sometimes when things go wrong, always look for the formats as well as other things. See, now I can, yeah, choose how I want it to be, and that's also a nice thing about tables and large amounts of data. You can like, yeah, get it organized. Now I want to make a pivot table instead. But you need to make a table before you make the pivot table. So we have a table over the data, and then you make a pivot table with this data. And I'm just gonna mark it in a moment. And then I'm gonna click on insert again, and then pivot table. I always pick a new sheet because if you do it in the existing one, then it changes a lot in size, these pivot tables, and it can just mess up the sheet. So I'll pick a new one. And always remember, when you have lots of data, lots of things you're doing, just have more sheets and then name the sheets and have it organized. It helps you a lot. Now, you can like customize your own table here by using the different categories and putting them in different places, rows, columns, filters, values. So sometimes you just gotta experiment and just figure out like the way you can do stuff. Yeah, basically the best way is just like experimenting. So that's what I'm also doing now. And yeah, perhaps you want to like be able to see what each department does, and that's why I'm setting it up this way. You got the sum of the invoice, maybe you want something else instead. Maybe you want the count. So you just go into value field settings and you can change that. So you can customize a lot here with the data. So in general, as far as I know, companies really like these pivot tables, and that you can like organize stuff fast. So it's a good ability to have, you would say, to know how to make these. And here you can see now I have the count of invoices and the sum of the total amount of invoices, like how many money they are on. So it's a good way to see what does each department spend here. And yeah, you can actually also make diagrams, but I'll show you that in another video. But it's also in the under pivot table analyze. And here, see, you can just choose the design if you think it's a bit dull. Yeah, and you can of course remove these things. And also, a general tip I want to give you is like, if there's something you might want to know how to do, sometimes it's just better to ask ChatGPT. If it's like things that aren't maybe the most common problems, then ask ChatGPT. Sometimes it helps. And I hope you like the video. Please subscribe and like the video. I'll come with more videos. All right.